What's up, folks?
Hello,
Welcome back
hello.
to Watch Her Work. We on episode 2. Like we're not canceled, Kelsey.
We did it. We did this more than once.
Right.
It's somewhat regular. We've managed to find a little bit of consistency for this, which is great.
Excellent. I think we have a pretty packed show for everybody.
Yeah.
I think we were talking a little bit just about what has happened in the last week, and then 30 seconds later we had spouted off like 18 topic ideas.
We're like, oh, we have stuff to talk about. It does. It always feels like, okay, there's no WNBA games. What's going on? What can we share? And then all of a sudden we realize how many tweets we've read and just sort of the influx of content with it that we're seeing. So yeah, excited to dive in.
That's right. And hello to Jay Blaze. Hello to Borland. Borland, like your video today on NFL All Day. Good job with that. Hey, Raptor News. Drive-by support is still support. So
yeah, we love
it. And Solbro, you don't have to worry about missing this room last time because you're here now. And we're going to relish the present. So,
and I love that you knew there was one last time.
Exactly.
That's half the battle.
Right. I've sent so many texts. Yeah, I've sent so many texts to my family, just like, well, they didn't watch it at first. Well, you can watch it later, or
yeah, it's still there if you still count.
Yep,
like and subscribe.
So, Kelsey, I think we talked about starting with WNBA. Again, since that's kind of I feel like that's our bread and butter. And this is our wheelhouse. So,
and there's some updates.
There's
a lot of question marks at the end of last show.
So if we can take us back to a couple of weeks ago, where our headspace was at, we were like, man, a lot has happened in WNBA free agency. There are all kinds of the signings happening. Some folks staying home, some people getting cored. Phoenix created their own super team. Seattle kept their super team together. New York is building their own little baby super team, and then we just talked about this entire just poop tornado that was happening in Chicago. With
it somehow sounds worse when you don't swear.
I'm just gonna file that in the back.
It's like the PG version feels. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that didn't set right. That went down a lot worse. We're
a family-friendly show here.
What's that?
We're a family-friendly show over here.
Right. I still have like the little one walking around. We're gonna see what gets repeated. Yeah. So we'll have poop tornado at school next week that she brings up. We had so many questions about Chicago. Chicago at that point had cored but not officially signed Kalia Copper. They let Steph Dolson go in free agency, traded away Diamond DeShields, brought in backup point guard, whose name I'm completely blanking on right now.
Is this Emma Meesman?
What's that?
Emma?
Not Emma, but Emma's Belgian teammate. I can't remember. But rumors were happening that Emma Meesman was coming, but also rumors were happening that they were risking losing the Vanderquigs. Courtney Vandersloot had received a quote-unquote insulting offer from the team, and it seemed like her spouse, Allie Quigley, was not going to be able to make the team. But in the days since, we are now at February 21st, and all's well in Chicago. Everyone got signed. Everyone's there. They brought
the storm has passed.
The storm has passed. We are post tornado. Oh, we have a
cameo.
Hi. Do you want to say hello?
Hi. How are you? Hello.
Do you want to tell them about the video that you made earlier today?
I made a video of me doing Girl Scout.
Yeah, you did a little sale on Girl Scout cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
How are the sales going?
How are your cookie sales going?
Good. I did one at the store.
Mm-hmm. The grocery store?
Yeah.
Yep. You're crushing it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there we go. All right. It's good to see you, Em. Bye.
See, it's good. Girl Scout cookies, everyone. It's not quite merch, but it would support the Team Hold fam. So
there you go.
We'll have to drop the cookie link in the Discord, maybe in the chat. Right. See if we can find it. They do deliver nationwide now. Huge win.
Yeah. Oh, you're Kelsey. You're making the sale.
Listen.
Yeah.
Bandy's
you're
right here
all
too. We got a Borland Napa Bandy on. He's chilling.
Yeah. And, while we're doing the housekeeping stuff, giving away cookies, make sure that you like the stream, subscribe, pay for VIP, get the stuff by your name. We got all that together. All right.
Yeah.
And the little Kevin Forge thing right here. That's also my Instagram handle. You can see Emerson's video there where she goes through all the cookies that we have one by one. And we have a little link to buy from her store. So you can help her kind of pay for all of her Girl Scout stuff that she wants. Okay.
Bandy was trying to eat some chocolate peanut butter ones yesterday, which would not have been ideal.
Bad news, Bandy.
This is not good for you. You can't have this. I'm sorry.
I'm sure there was remorse on his part.
But if he could buy them, I know he would. So,
well, the shortbread ones are dog friendly, so we could talk to that.
That is great to know. That is great to know. And now there's a new gluten-free cookie, I believe, for our gluten-friendly folks.
Absolutely.
Supporting women.
Human-friendly, dog-friendly cookies. We have it all. We're great. Wow. So we are back on.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
They have everybody back. They're running it back. They're gonna roll out a lineup of Courtney Vandersloot, Candace Parker, Kalia Copper, Emma Meesman,
Azuri
Stevens, probably starting for. You're right, and then Allie Quigley, first person off the bench, and this team it's going to be fire. It is.
Yeah, it's good.
It is. It's a good team.
It's good.
There's something that we can get into in terms of like futures and sort of like free agent power rankings. Chicago isn't quite at the top of that even.
Which seems, I was surprised by that. We can, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Another blockbuster happened in the time that we between the last time we streamed and now. There are rumors swirling all over the place. We even saw the tweets, the subtweets, however we want to call it. Liz Cambage clearly wasn't feeling it in Las Vegas, and she took her talents to Hollywood. She's going to be on the LA Sparks. That signing was official, and so she is going to be the centerpiece for a team that's looking to get back to glory that they haven't really had since losing Candace Parker. And honestly, kind of even when they had Candace Parker, there were still struggles there. LA has also made like a couple trades. If you want to check out, probably in the next 2 weeks, I'll be having a post up on Winsider kind of about these smaller moves that are happening in the WNBA over free agency. That's a nice plug, I know.
Love that. You saw it in my face. Plug it.
They traded for Katie Lou Samuelson from Chicago, or from Seattle. They also brought in Jordan Canada in a signing from Seattle. They also brought in Trinity Carter from Atlanta. And so what they're surrounding Nikke with and Liz Cambage with, a lot of outside shooting, a lot of sort of this fast-paced scoring. And I think that what they're building in LA is exciting. I had last time we talked, I had hesitancy just about personalities, things like that. But as it comes together, it looks pretty good. What do you think about all of these things happening, Kelsey?
I like it. I'm not super surprised by Chicago. I think the Vanderquigs, it made sense for them to stay there. I was curious if we'd hear anything about numbers, because I think they ended up doing pretty well, like being able to fit them in. I can look up kind of what they ended up signing for here. But yeah, that's not, it felt sort of more like, ooh, as it was happening. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Especially with that team, you really do feel like contenders again. And so if you have another chance to run it back, you're going to take that opportunity alone. Vandersloot signed for 195 and Quigley 135. They did pretty good.
Yeah.
Did pretty good. So, yeah, that looks fun. And I'm excited to see how the Sparks do. I think Liz Cambage in a new environment could be really fun. And the team they're sort of building around that looks promising. So,
I mean, the last time Liz Cambage was sort of the centerpiece of an offense like that, like she scored 56 points in a WNBA game and
I
set the
think
record.
I think she enjoys that role. I think
Mhm.
it plays to her strengths. I think
Yep.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
And I
other
think
teams?
that leads us into sort of like what are we thinking about going into the 2022 season? Does I mean, do we have a new champion? I mean, there's a lot to figure out by Bandy with free sort of the draft and sort of some of these smaller moves that are happening
Mhm.
in free agency. But let me see if I can pull it up and share screen.
So this is a
These
good
are things I
question for
probably should
Mike.
have
Do
had.
the signings and moving shift the power dynamics in the league? This is kind of you'll sort of see this now,
Hmm.
and it sort of depends how familiar we feel our audience is with some of these teams.
Yeah.
I think you'll see it doesn't switch it too much, which is
Yeah.
kind of surprising. But yeah, we'll sort of touch on that as we kind of go through these expectations.
Let me bring it up. We're doing share screen stuff. It's a 4-day week, and then I don't remember how to do this shit. All right. How are we looking there? Okay.
There we
So
go.
this is from The Athletic. And you kind of see where they have their free agency power rankings at. We see
Mhm.
Chicago, Phoenix, Connecticut. A lot of those folks who kind of kept it together, doing pretty well.
Yeah, I would say
What?
that top five is, I would imagine, what Mike's thinking of here.
Yep.
I think those are probably the teams that come to mind first when you're thinking
Hmm.
about the league right now.
Yep.
So that feels pretty consistent.
Yeah. The only teams sort of in that top 8 who weren't in the playoffs last year, Washington Mystics and Los Angeles Sparks.
Mhm.
And honestly, the Mystics one, that's just optimism that Elena Zeldon
I'm
is
looking
going to
at
be
yeah.
back and healthy. They have great supporting stuff around her that we can't get into, but I think it's all reliant on having one of the game's best back in uniform.
Yeah,
And then you see with
and that
Los
Sparks
Angeles
one
sort of,
is
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
with Cambage.
right. So does anything
Which
jump off
is
to you
amazing,
about
like,
that?
how much
Yeah.
those they make a difference. And
Hmm.
it's sort of wild to think of. I say this all the time, but the star power in the WNBA, like, I do think even those of you in the chat who feel like you don't know a ton about the WNBA or sort of know kind of a little bit, I think you could name more players than you realize. And sort of when you're thinking about where those players are and who they get to play with, it starts to become pretty incredible about kind of just how much talent is in the league. But yeah, that someone like Liz can be on the Sparks, and now they're above New York here on like what we're sort of anticipating. I think that's one that probably people are kind of zoned in on. But otherwise, this feels right.
Yeah, and I mean that it certainly reflects kind of the power dynamic in the league. You think
Yeah,
that like New York and Dallas, who were in the playoffs last year, kind of at that 9 and 10 spot. I think they still, just based on sort of youth and sort of the pieces that they have, I think they have a lot to kind of prove to people still.
yeah,
I think we're all kind of waiting on Sabrina Ionescu to take the kind of next step in her potential meteoric rise,
yeah,
and to see what the fit with Dolson and Howard and kind of those other players look like. And then Dallas, the only team in the league who didn't make a free agency signing. Like, what does their kind of weird mishmash roster look like? I mean, they have Arike and Gubawale, they have Sabali, they have Charlie Collier and Mabry. So they just have like scoring galore, but they
yeah,
have just, I think even like Ngubawale or Mabry, like there's these guards that can score, but they have kind of the prowess for facilitation and getting other people involved. And I think that's where a lot of that question kind of sits.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop my share, and I want to see what the chat has to say about that. I like DJ Local pick Mystics in my Omni Fantasy. I have to know what Omni Fantasy is. Is this like picking a team based on futures or what? Because any bet for Washington is one that I can get on board with, because I do think that they kind of want those long shot teams and we can kind of give it into this. I think they have
Yeah.
a really good postseason chance.
I feel like I haven't seen enough of them to say with complete confidence,
Mhm.
but I trust Elena.
I trust
That's sort of where
Elena. I
land.
trust Natasha.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and then I think the other thing that we can get into based on this, and this is where I really want the chat to come in, and where we want some commentary and discussion on. DraftKings blessed us with some lines for the upcoming season. So these are going to be some championship odds that we can look at. And oh, there we go. Kapow. All right. So we see going into next season, Aces, kind of the clear favorite. They don't have, for whatever reason, I don't know why they hadn't included Connecticut in this. But you see what some of the other lines are. Aces at 275.
Why was Connecticut still making moves when they would have? Because I didn't think they really.
It seemed like a lot of their moves were kind of done. Kind of in that first week. So I don't know if they just see them as such a favorite that they don't want them listed or what. That is what I came up with, and not being a betting person, but being someone who lives in a state that voted for sports betting and is kind of slowly bringing it to the masses. I want to know, because the first thing I want to lay some money down when this is legal in Nebraska is are some of these odds. So Kelsey, looking at that, like, what jumps off the page to you?
Okay, so I mean, just talking about the Mystics and the odds there. If you think they have a shot, those odds feel fun to me. I also think of the teams where you're gonna make the most if they win, I would say the Sparks look the most fun.
Yep.
Just because I just think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be seen there. I think with those odds plus their talent, that's a good combo for a bet like this. I don't, at this point, I wouldn't say like, yeah, I think they have the best shot at winning, but I also feel like there is a shot they could. And with those odds, that feels sufficient.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I land on that. I'm surprised the Aces are so high up on this. I would have put Phoenix, I think, a little bit. I'm like thinking of these teams though, and then I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe I would. Maybe not. Like Phoenix feels stacked. You Seattle, you have your Sue Bird final run, so there's a lot of momentum behind that, and kind of the story stakes to a Seattle win. Chicago running it back for year 2. You have the story stakes there, I think, as well. Aces kind of surprises me. Ahead of them. I mean, they're a fun team. They're great. They're so talented. Love Asia Wilson, love Kelsey Plum, but where are you on this? What are you?
I'm in that same boat. I think if I had $50 just to like sit down and cue the not financial advice part of this at all, but doesn't it seem like the highest ceiling that you can get for a team in terms of value on these bets is the Sparks, because they have the post presence of Neke and Liz Cambage, plus all of this outside shooting that they're surrounding her with, plus a bench that's sort of like like Amanda Zawibi and like Christy Tolliver and some of these other folks that they're going to be throwing out. Like it's a pretty stacked roster, and there's a lot to figure out on the defensive side, and Derek Fisher is going to have to earn some trust back, just like as a coach and person who can manage teams. But what the talent-wise, what this team can do is incredible. I mean, I wouldn't touch the Dallas Wings. The New York Liberty are the tiniest bit interesting, because I do see potential to get to a finals there for them if a lot of right things kind of break their way.
It feels like too many things have to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if that's where you're looking sort of in this space, you take the Sparks.
Yeah. And this is coming from a Liberty homer. Like this is
I'm going to root for the Liberty.
Right. We're Team Liberty here. We're Team Steph. We're Team Liberty. Like we're fan. We're all over the seafoam green.
Yeah, but that Sparks one, the Sparks one looks like the best deal.
Yep.
Where like
absolutely.
It seems like it could. It seems the most realistic for the highest ceiling, I think.
Yep. And I think anything else kind of within that range, like Dallas, you're lighting money on fire. Indiana.
We talk about this all the time. I am about to put it on our registry. I do think that might be something that just goes up there. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Everyone buy it for us. I like this question here. Are the superstar veterans still solid, or do they just put up mediocre stats? Was this what you were going to click on one?
I was just going to click on Mike's. You were the right bet. You're keeping the show on track. I think the superstar veterans are superstars for a reason. There are certainly some folks who are sort of past their prime. Obviously, all these folks we're talking about in their last year, Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles. But I would say even from Sylvia Fowles, last year she won Defensive Player of the Year. And if you watch games, she is unguardable in the post still at, I think, 35, 36 years of age. Like she is so good. She's real good. Yeah. I
think if you're ranking current WNBA players, you're probably not putting them, although this is an interesting thought now. I almost feel like you're not putting them in the top 5 anymore. But they're definitely probably top 10.
Yep.
Is sort of where I'm landing. Like the first names that come to mind, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, like those, I think there's a new tier now of top talent.
This is their league, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think though that those superstar veterans are the difference makers on whether or not you're a championship team. I think their leadership and guidance is huge. And I think you're seeing it with Candace Parker and the Chicago Sky, even Courtney Vandersloot. I don't know if people consider her sort of superstar veterans, but it's like who's in that bubble too? Like who do you consider more veteran players? But yeah, I think they're still solid, but I don't know if you'd say they're the best in the league.
Right. And I think that's what the hesitation is with Phoenix, is that if you look at their starting 5, name the players who are still in their prime. And I think the only one that you can confidently name is Skylar Diggins-Smith. And while she is one of the best 2 or 3 point guards in the WNBA, like how much can she carry? How much can she stay healthy? Because a lot of her folks around there are kind of in their latter stages. I think even Brittany Griner is tiptoeing kind of towards the end of that.
Yeah. Although I would say Brittany's probably still top 5.
Yeah. Do we want to go for
we can try. I think we're going to end up making probably a top 7 to 10, but
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be completely difficult. All right. With the first pick in the top 5 WNBA draft, Kelsey, who are you going with?
This
number 1.
Is tough. I think I'm going Asia.
Okay. Asia number 1. All right.
Right?
Yeah. My number 2 pick, I'm going with Jonquel Jones.
Ooh, I like that.
3, you're on the clock.
See, this is where it breaks down for me because I have recency bias from the playoffs. So my brain's like Kalia Copper. It's like, is that my 3? I don't know. I feel like I put Brittany Griner up there.
I think that's absolutely fair. She's one of the best.
It's Brianna Stewart.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's probably who I was going to pick if you weren't. So, I think it has to be Stewie in that realm. We'll take a little break between the picks. We'll pump Mike for subscribing to the show. Thanks, Mike. Mike. And
Mike subscribes to the show, but he puts enough into the show that I think he's paying more for the subcription than anyone else is paying for the
Yeah, he's putting like 80 hours a week into like Team Hold, probably more. And we're dragging him in the comments. So shame him into subscribing. I love the internet.
We love a troll. And if you're not still wearing your mask, I would highly recommend it. We're still in a pandemic. So we will push our agenda here if you guys are trolling in the chat. I don't know how many people it seems like the same person. Somebody else made some comments earlier. I think we have our own version of a Damon Fat.
I think so. We have
in the
a lot of
chat.
folks going on. You know, I am proud of Mike for
We
still
love
wearing
it.
his mask. You know, you love to see it. You
Well,
love a
there's so
guy
many,
who
and I
subscribes to
love
the show.
whoever's doing this because you made so many accounts. Like these are all separate views, I think.
Yeah, you're
Just
helping.
like it from each of those accounts. We would love that.
We're on number 4. Is it my pick? All right. I'm saying I'm going to go with Brittany Griner because I think
Okay.
that you have the right frame of mind. Most dominant defensive player in the league in another gear in this last season. So then let's put it at, where's number 5? Kelsey, it's on you.
Just jump up to Griner. I feel like I need a list so I can see them all at once. I'm like forgetting. There's like so many names popping into my head that who does the chat have at? Oh my god, there's what is the like how do you do that? How do you make that many accounts to say the same thing that quickly? It's got to be someone
let's use
who's
these
like
powers for good.
It's got to be someone who's pretty tech savvy. Oh my god.
That was the fastest little bandy crawl I've ever seen in my life. Plum is I like the Plum take. I think Plum is in that top 10. Definitely like a 6th person of the year.
She's the number 1 6th man of the year to me.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And then
do we still say that it's Candace in top 5? Is she that kind of player, or is she past it? Or is she just not interested?
Sorry. That's a good question. I'm getting distracted by our cameo here. There's some what about UNESCO on the side. I don't know if maybe it's Candace. I don't know.
You know,
Candace,
I
don't think it's UNESCO yet.
Mm-hmm. I am just racking my flipping brain, and I think it's probably like a healthy Elena Deldon is our answer.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably where
she
it could
can't,
be.
right? But she's not healthy.
Yeah, Borland's correct. If Maya Moore was still here, she would be top 5. She is obviously doing that stuff that's so important for the world. And Borland, I do want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said that we're forgetting that the Mystics also have the top pick when we're like doing those championship odds, and you are absolutely right. And look for us to I want to do a draft like this in the future where we're drafting out our first round for the draft, but thankfully that's a while away, so we can get the rest of our stuff figured out with college ball. But we're prepared for that too. So we have I forgot what the draft was happening already. I'm just seeing like so many trolls things happening.
I know. I think we're on the case there.
Yeah. So we have
Asia was
shit,
first.
where am I even at? Yeah. Who was our first pick?
Asia was first. Jonquil, Brianna Stewart, Griner. And then we're not sure on 5. Probably, I mean, Candace, I think, feels. But then you're in, but this is where it sort of becomes like Candace, Suber, DT, I think are all then in that next tier where I can't come up with the top 5. It's a top 5 to 7. Like right. I do think though, but I think when we're saying like, are these superstars still in their prime? Kansas, DT, Bird are the ones I think of as that category. Right. I don't think I guess altogether they're top 5, but I do think I can name comfortably 4 people.
They're the Voltron top 5. Like you just put their powers together.
It has potential to be up there. Like I just, and then you have UNESCO, who we're still kind of waiting to see her potential. We're trying to Elena Deladon if she's healthy. Like there are other people that I think sort of move into those spots. So I guess my short answer is I think they're all 5 of the top 5.
I think you're absolutely right. Maybe. Yeah. I think we're going to have to like dig into this or find a way we can in the Discord. So I think this is a great opportunity. Let's pump the WNBA channel in the Team Horde Discord. If you're not there yet, it is in the show notes. And if you're not there yet, honestly, what are you doing? Like, it's a fun time in there. show up, get your roles, pay the $4.99 to get your unlocked channels in there, and we have a lot of fun. Like, this is taken over a lot of my like phone looking at life, because the folks that are there are amazing. We get great shares and good info every day, and I think that's great. That's the place that we have to sort of hash out where the rest of this top 5 is at.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I think this is an interesting. Were you just gonna pull this up?
Yep, I was just gonna.
I would say no, not yet. Her first year she was injured, so we didn't really get to see like the post college hype Sabrina. I also don't know if she's had enough around her to really shine. With that being said, though, I did think kind of Sabrina would be someone who sort of transcended, like she could be the one player on a team and do pretty phenomenally. I wouldn't say it's disappointed, but I don't know if there was more hype. That just may be the delay. I think the first year was the most hype. And so then like we didn't get that first year hype. Yeah, I would, in my mind, I don't love to compare NBA and WNBA, but I sort of feel that way about Zion, where it like kind of fluctuates and it's like some injury stuff and some, that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah. And I think that we've probably seen sort of the baseline of Sabrina, I think is higher than what the baseline is for Zion from what we've seen at this point. And I think that there's a huge ceiling for Sabrina. And I think that's part of the reason to be excited for 2022 is that she has just this remarkable load of talent around her. And that's where I think she's going to get a great opportunity to shine, because post All-Star break last season, she was absolute fire. Like, she was a must DFS play, getting assists, steals, points, scoring at the basket, kind of finding her outside shot. Like, I think that's where we, I think that's the trajectory that we want to see for Sabrina. We've talked a lot about the W so far. Kelsey, do you want to talk about what's coming up for things that aren't the W right now?
Yeah. So speaking, kind of going back to this like top picks, thinking about NCAA women, if you are someone who is hoping to get more into the WNBA, I would recommend sort of tuning into NCAA women's. There are a lot of exciting players coming into the league in the next handful of years. Not a ton of standout names that I can think of for next year. I know there's some good, good draft options, of course, but I do think that the following year and the year after that, there's going to be some really strong draft classes. And I'm wondering if some of these retirement announcements are coming, knowing that there's going to be some real good young talent taking some of these spots. But yeah, I think we should talk a little bit about NCAA women's just to get people kind of prepped and primed for their brackets for that.
Yeah.
I know March Madness for the men tends to take over people's minds, but the women now are also under the March Madness name. So March Madness, both men and women's, got to get you.
It took.
So this is perfect. What team should I be watching for college? Beckers is currently injured. Beckers is on UConn. She is incredible. That is exactly one of the people I was thinking about when I was sort of saying that. I don't know if she'll be back for the tournament. I think she has been practicing with the team. It just seems too soon still. If she is playing, I think it'll be pretty limited minutes. You won't get the full Beckers experience, I don't think, in this NCAA women's tournament. Right. But yeah, fun teams to watch. So Stanford, very fun. They made it last year. Great program, great team. South Carolina and Aaliyah Boston. A lot of talk about Aaliyah Boston being player of the year. We can kind of get into that here soon.
Sure.
She's really fun.
Did you watch her game yesterday? So ESPN. So
I caught the very end of it. And I didn't get to see her play very much because they were up. So she sat the last few minutes.
ESPN has a highlight video. I'll share it in the WNBA. It's only 2 minutes long, and it is the most absurdly, just astoundingly good post footwork I had ever seen in my life. That's a totally just nerdy thing to say. But Aaliyah Boston she's not the tallest. She's not the biggest. I don't know if she's the strongest, but her ability at her size and just at her build to get to any spot that she wants on the post, be able to square someone up, get the ball, and just score immediately is the most unreal thing I had ever seen. And she deserves every award. And that sort of like footwork skill, that ability to pin people, to put people on your hip, to get to your spots, absolutely a transferable skill in the WNBA, and I can't wait to see her.
There was a great you may have sent this to me. I don't know if I sent it to you. There was a fun tweet about her having played when she was younger, and it's like she scored 50 points in the game, and then like as you're sort of reading the story, you realize the team had only scored 50 points in the game, and they lost 50-51 when she was pulled because of foul trouble, like she fouled out, and then sort of at the end of the article dug in there. It's like she was on a team of all boys. This is like an all boys league, and she scored all 50 of their points. So like these are the stories you're hearing about her as sort of an athlete coming up in her career. Just that dominant player.
She is absolutely incredible.
It's cool. She's kind of got that narrative building. I think that's so important to sort of build hype around these players. And I think the NCAA has a really cool opportunity to sort of have these women's names known before they even get into the W. And that's the perfect kind of entry point as the W's, pumping more money into the league. Like I think it's gonna be great.
I think it's great. And hopefully the NCAA doesn't fuck it up like they do with everything related to women's sports. So,
but yeah, so Aaliyah Boston, South Carolina. So they're a really fun team to watch. I think, do we have the list of sort of where?
Sure. And just me being kind of that Midwest homer, a lot of the games that I've watched are a lot of Big 12, Big 10 games. If you are a fan of Warriors basketball, if you like kind of these like 4 or 5 out, lots of threes happening, Iowa State is this incredible team that their best player, Ashley Jones, is kind of a post, kind of a hybrid forward guard, has this weird release on her shot, but is such a good facilitator at a forward position to kind of free up guards and just let a lot of threes just go. Michigan is up there. Indiana is up there. I would say even as you look sort of down in like that mid-major land, like Florida Gulf Coast has been ranked for most of the year, and they have
Florida Gulf Coast sneaky good at basketball. I feel like every year I'm like, ooh, look at them.
Right. This university is like 10 years old, but it somehow has like a greater basketball history than like my alma mater that's been around for a bajillion years. And NC State.
NC State. I think they'll be ranked.
Yeah.
So NC State and Louisville are the other two teams with Stanford and South Carolina that are projected to rank 1. I think they're ranked 1 right now in their respective divisions.
And some of those other like kind of bigger players like Nalisa Smith from Baylor is one of those, probably a top 5 WNBA pick kind of next year. Great post player, someone to watch out for. And excuse me. Veronica Burton from Northwestern is just this impeccable scorer. And I know we talked about Paige last time at from Iowa, who also can just like light it up. Yeah,
Caitlin from Iowa.
Oh my God.
Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers often in the same conversation.
Switch it around. Yeah. See,
I was like, Paige, she's so good. It took me a minute to realize this. Caitlin Clark from Iowa.
Right. I'm the women's basketball media who keep conflating Paige and Caitlin, so I'm the problem.
That's okay. That works out well for Aaliyah if they're the same person. True. If everyone thinks Caitlin's been injured this whole time,
right? Exactly.
That's so bad.
So that's where we're at. I think it's going to be an incredible tournament.
What's Iowa ranked? I'm trying to find it here. I want to say, I wanted to say 5, but I don't know if that's right.
Iowa State, I think, is top 10. I think Iowa had tripped down.
2.
Yeah. Hear my loud typing. There we go.
There's 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, there's 7. So they're a fun team. That's a fun team with just like the Caitlin Clark competitiveness and her ability to sort of run the offense when she needs to. That's a fun 7 seed to maybe pull in some upsets.
Right.
I feel like you always have to pick a couple 7 and 8 seeds to send a little further.
Yeah, and what
That's
the thing
my
has been,
strategy when I build brackets. I'm like, let's pick a couple.
the
Because
thing with like
generally,
women's
I think
basketball. Oh, go
like,
ahead. Sorry.
I think generally statistics show that you're like, I think it's like the odds of a team below 5 getting into the Final Four are pretty low, but it's not impossible. And so that's where like brackets tend to vary. But that if you're going to pick an upset team, it's like 7 or 8 seed, I think is where you go.
And that seems like the year to do it. Like UConn is like has 5 losses this year, which just seems like so many, and all these other like
they're missing a lot
South
of people
Carolina.
right now too, who I think will be back for the tournament. But a lot.
But it's still a lot to figure out when they get back.
Yeah. Azzy Fudd's really fun. I don't know if she's quite. I think she just kind of needs a little bit more to support her there. They have 2. I'm blanking on her first name, but they have 2 other injured players who should be back soon. They're sort of day to day, but in time for the tournament. Who did well last year? It'll come to me. But let's see who else seems fun. In full transparency to our viewers here, I have not watched a ton of NCAA women's basketball, and a lot of where my thoughts are coming from is highlights of people like Caitlin and Paige and Aaliyah Boston that I see on Twitter all the time. Ayoka Lee is really fun from Kansas State. So there's definitely names I'm familiar with, but I truly haven't watched a ton. Of NCAA women. So I'm excited for the tournament to kind of see that. And if you haven't locked in yet, neither have I. So we can all watch the tournament together and really put faces to names and skills to names when we watch it. But
there's still time.
There's still time. And good. And I do think it's like, and maybe this is just me convincing myself of what I'm already going to do, but I do think that watching NCAA women's is a really easy way to then sort of set yourself up to be into the W later. I think March Madness is like the perfect environment to start rooting for these.
And the draft is so like title game happens, and then like a week later we have
it's quick.
Yeah, we have the draft. So there is a quick transfer.
It was really fun last year to watch like Dejanay Carrington, Ari McDonald, like to watch them in those final games and then to be like, oh, you're on this team. Like it's cool. And I do feel like now I recognize them more and pay closer attention to sort of where they're at in the league because of that. So highly recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. And just getting on board with someone like Dejanay Carrington, who is just flourishing as Athletes Unlimited is good, because I think that she has a cool future in the W too. So that's exciting.
She's fun.
John, welcome. I would love to know more about what 3-way team trade you're talking about. If this is Phoenix, Chicago, and I think it was Indiana. We did talk about that in our previous episode. So you would be welcome to go back if this is the trade that you're talking about and have a take or want us to.
If you have a specific question about the trade, like how it impacts teams, that might be more helpful for us.
I'm happy to talk.
I'm trying to think like how to.
And this has to happen.
Yeah.
And this has to happen. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want.
What team should I be watching?
Yeah.
College, a lot of them. There are a lot of them are really fun. But yeah, I guess if you're just like, who do I need to focus on for right now? I think South Carolina is probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe Stanford is your next choice. I think Iowa has a game on tonight. I believe it. I think there's a game Iowa at 8. Let me see who's they're playing. But yeah, I would say South Carolina probably.
Yeah. South Carolina is going to be that top. And again, it's sort of like what your preference is. I mean, you still have time to figure out sort of like what are these play styles and stuff. So I tend to like, I'm not a person who has like the full bore of cable channels to watch. So I stick a lot to just like ESPN Plus and some of that other stuff that we just have from like bundling streaming things. Baylor, Iowa State are on there a lot, as are a lot of Big 12 teams. And both are super fun to watch. Oklahoma's up there as well. And then if you get a chance, like on any, like what Kelsey brought up, watching Stanford, watching South Carolina, just seeing what like dominance in women's basketball looks like. That's it. And that's,
And I think you're
right
going to
there.
see, I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities to see them, especially in March Madness. I do think those two teams will go pretty far. Indiana and Iowa play tonight at 8. I'm not sure what channel here. It doesn't really tell me, but
And thank you, John, for clarifying. And thank you for saying to watch the other one. But honestly, I think this is one of those rare like three team trades where like everybody wins. Like Indiana gets draft picks, which is what they want. Chicago clarifies kind of their roster situation and eliminates some of that duplicate with Copper and with Diamond DeShields. And Phoenix gets kind of that youthful energy, defense, rebounding, moving all over the place that they need with their super old team. Like they are the WNBA Lakers. Like they are so old, and they need that energy help.
That Lakers comp is pretty good.
And Borland in the know with all things Big Ten.
Thank you, Borland.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys want to turn on the game at 8, we can all get in the WNBA channel in the Discord, and we can sort of share our thoughts about the game as we're in there chatting.
And let's go. What other thoughts do we have on the NCAA before we took off?
Yeah, NCAA women. I think we're planning to do some sort of bracket type thing.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. Definitely start tuning into games so that you have a little more insight than other people who probably would build brackets. Definitely more than me at the current moment. Maybe not by the time we actually build the brackets, but here we go. I think just I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to watch games and see how that goes. I'm excited to see if there's more hype for the women's tournament now that they're under the March Madness name. Looking forward to that, hoping that they have sufficient weight rooms this year.
And hotels and everything.
And that everything, great to see that. I do think so. Yeah, I think we're ready to. I think that's it for NCAA women's at the moment, unless anyone has any specific questions.
I think that's great. And I'll be transparent too with where I come from. If Nebraska makes it in, I'm writing them in every level because I am such a fan of this Nebraska team. They're the ones that I have probably watched the most of, and got their 20th win yesterday. And if they make it, I am going to be as obnoxious as possible about it. So look.
Yeah, are they on the cusp? Do they have a shot at
their non-conference schedule? They went undefeated in, and it was just an absolute cakewalk. They have 2 top 5 wins, but then immediately followed that up with some pretty poor losses. So I think they're on one of these kind of cusp teams. The last I checked, their RPI was like 35. So if they do well the remainder of their season and win a couple games in their tournament, they probably are in, but we will, it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Not a ton of time left.
No, not at all. We're nervous here.
So fingers crossed, rooting for them too.
Right. All right. Kelsey, what else did you want to talk about?
I think so. We could do a quick. We don't have a ton of updates on Athletes Unlimited. Just that Tiana Hawkins seems to have run away with the champ. For those of you that did not watch last week and are not familiar with AU, it's Athletes Unlimited, and the setup of the tournaments is that the top scorers draft teams for the following set of games, and you get points as an individual for team wins. I think like points scored in games, you get points per quarter, but they have this whole sort of mathematical system so that you're both playing kind of a standard game of basketball, but you're also kind of the point of the season is to be the number 1 player of the season. Which is kind of a cool way to do that and a cool way to celebrate players and sort of have this leaderboard shape up. Tiana Hawkins is 718 points away from the next, the next person who could catch her. I think there's only a week left.
This is the last week.
So I feel like I read something that if a lot of things go wrong for her and right for everyone else, that like someone could maybe catch her, but it seems like a lock.
700 points seems like a lot. Let me bring this up.
Because I think, I forget how many you can get per game. And you don't get any extra points if the game goes into overtime. So like even if players earn more individual points, like I forget sort of how it would even be possible for someone to catch up to her. I don't think there's enough points available for that to happen.
Right. And it just, from what you can see, just Natasha Cloud is kind of still in there with kind of Isabel Harrison a little bit back from that, but like woof, Tiana Hawkins. And that was aided by kind of her not missing a lot of games, but also like she set some pretty serious scoring records, and they're almost dropping a 50 piece in one game points wise, and then followed up with like 35 or 40 points again. Like she has completely dominated the league since sort of that second week. So,
she's on the Dream, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
A
name I wasn't as familiar with until AU.
Right. And, Atlanta, a team that needs kind of to grasp onto anything in terms of optimism. So hopefully that works out for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think there's a ton of AU news.
I think it's a great, and this is something that I talked with Borland on Twitter a little bit today, just sort of this idea of what else can we use Athletes Unlimited for? I mean, this is like 5 weeks of what was really high quality basketball, and is this a way to start to kind of include more of that domestic kind of basketball talent in women's basketball, and not realize so much in sort of like overseas leagues for like women's kind of training and development, but to have folks kind of here and be able to develop their talents, kind of treat it like a G League a little bit, or just kind of like an off-season program where folks still get paid and still get to showcase their talents.
I can see if the compensation's comparable to playing overseas. I think you'd choose to stay in the States. Like you're gonna want to be close to family. You're gonna want to be like maintain your relationships with people nearby. Like it's hard to be overseas for that long. So I do think there's such a natural draw to AU, and I think the only thing that would probably stand in the way of that is financial situations for people, because we know these women are very underpaid in the WNBA. So that's another thing too, where like if WNBA salaries can go up and they can be compensated better, maybe that then also supports AU. So it'll be interesting to see how it shapes out in the next few years. But yeah, really cool format. And I just really love the way they're able to celebrate individual talent while still maintaining a team game.
Absolutely agree. Everything that you said, Kelsey.
Yeah. And they have some other sports on there, so I'm curious to check that out. Cool.
It's not even the basketball that's their like bread and butter. This is like a volleyball.
Yeah,
softball,
volleyball
lacrosse.
Was the I thought. Yeah.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great that they're able to do that. I have some packs to open. Are we ready for that?
Ooh, nice. I was gonna say I think our only other that we had talked about was the WNBA, the Kobe and Gigi Bryant Award that they gave to Chris Paul during the All-Star weekend.
Yes.
And our sort of general thoughts on that. Curious if people in the chat kind of what they were thinking. And
right. So kind of context. And again, what Kelsey said, would love to hear your thoughts in the chat. The Kobe and Gigi Bryant trophy presented at the All-Star game was the intent is to award someone for their advocacy for women's basketball, because Kobe was that for the WNBA for a long, long time, and supported his kids in basketball and supported WNBA as a whole. And the first award for that this year went to Chris Paul, who is really close to the W, always wearing the hoodie, the jerseys, close to the Phoenix players. Kelsey, you brought up to me on Twitter that just kind of his interview that he had talking about like how he interacts with Diana Taurasi and how they're basically of the same, just like intense basketball mind.
Yeah, that was so cool. I think is it Ari Ivory? Am I saying the name right? There was other interviews of her asking NBA players which WNBA player they'd want sort of on their team if they had to play like 2v2, which then prompted a lot of Twitter discussion about that's better than the dunk contest. Like that should be what we do next year. and just some of their answers of why they would pick certain people were really cool. And Chris Paul's was, I felt, he was very in depth, and he seems to understand DT's game. And he's like, yeah, we work out together. Like, I see her practice all the time. I respect her level of intensity. I think, sort of two peas in a pod. I forget how he said it, but I think he called them a match made in heaven if they were the 2v2 team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, that would be incredible.
I would feel bad for any official who was like at that game with Chris Paul and Taurasi at the
You'd
same
almost
game.
need it to just be like street rules. Like, you just put in, there's no ref, and you just like fight till you figure out what happens. Yep. Like, call your own fouls. But yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, I think it's cool that they honored him. I think it's I also kind of agree with some of the criticism of like, why are we honoring more men in women's sports? I think in the spirit of honoring Kobe, that makes sense. I do kind of wish they had rolled out. I was thinking about like, what would I have preferred happened? Because I do think the award's important, and I think that I respect and appreciate that it exists now, and that I imagine it's something they do during the All-Star Weekend every year, which is a nice way to bring attention back to the WNBA in their off season. I kind of wish they had done a separate Gigi Bryant Award and Kobe Bryant Award for something like that, and that they had awarded one to, a woman who's been supporting the league first. And I think you could have done like the Gigi Bryant Award for women's sports. I'm curious, is the award just for like men who support?
I don't think it's just for men. I don't think it's just for NBA players. And I absolutely could be wrong. But I think kind of one thing that, because I was taken aback by the criticism kind of at first, just sort of it felt like a lot of like Twitter blowback. But you said on it a little bit, and like, what? We are kind of giving men an award for showing up for just being fans of women's basketball, for wearing a jersey, for wearing a hoodie, for showing up to games kind of courtside. And in complete just frankness, like, Chris Paul obviously does way more than that. He is very involved with the team. He speaks to women's sports a lot, and like what he does is advocacy. But I think some of that criticism kind of got to a point of just sort of got to a kind of a correct point of kind of pointing out of sort of like, what kind of pats on the back do we give NBA players, or just kind of men, or like dads of girls who just kind of like show up and tolerate and wear the occasional jersey for women's basketball, and just sort of like do that as part of like, look how forward and progressive I am, and wear that as their badge of honor. What about wearing a Diana Taurasi jersey?
Yes, it's both. And the eye roll is only, I just sort of feel like the first one should have gone to a woman who's been doing it the whole time. Like, I don't know. But I do also, to counterpoint myself here, I think Chris Paul is a really good public example of someone who's doing this because he wears the merch all the time, because he's very vocal about like working out with DT and the Phoenix connection to the Mercury. Like, I do think that's that he's a good choice. I think he deserves this award, of course. I think the criticism that that like, okay, good job. What about all the women who have been behind the scenes doing this for a long time?
And I think let's just set the bar for men, that the next man who wins this award does more than wear jerseys and sits on the sidelines for WNBA games. You don't get a participation trophy for kind of just being a fan of WNBA basketball, or just saying publicly that you're a fan. Like,
I'm trying to get a sense of like what else went into the award, because I'd also think that, and maybe people in the chat know, I do think Chris Paul has done more tangible things for women's sports.
This is not me saying this is all that Chris Paul has done. I just think that like, oh, go ahead.
No, I agree here. I don't think he's doing it for recognition. I don't either. I think it's a genuine. I think honestly, the way he talked about DT and her love for the game, like, it does sort of feel like I don't know how I don't have data points for how long Chris Paul has been an active supporter of the WNBA.
Right.
I do think seeing Phoenix Mercury players in their facility probably like was a catalyst for that, which I think is a good sort of point for expansion, that like put these women's teams where you have established NBA fan bases.
God damn it, Mike.
In a true role reversal, Mike is currently making us dinner, so he is the one of the two of us in the kitchen today. So if we want to get deep in the weeds of gender norms, ooh, this is fun. Would love to bet on CB3 coaching a W team. I can see that too. That's fun. But
that
yeah, I don't know a ton about what else he's done, and so next time I'll come back. Let me write down my homework list.
Thank you for your service, DJ Local. You absolutely earned that.
Yeah, you guys can give yourselves awards.
Right. This hand's going
there's
directly.
There's plenty available. You could probably Google like awards I could win, and hopefully the algorithm points you in the right direction.
The only other person who I can think of who earned the award, the advocacy award this weekend, is the person who took the video of DJ Khaled trying to do the skills challenge and then put it over the caption of sort of like the man who thinks he beat WNBA.
I need this award because I hear them, I watch them, and I live with them. So we feel free to nominate yourself. But if another man gets that award over a woman, I'm going to be disappointed. is how I feel about that.
We're burning it down.
But yeah, we'll actually, this is I like this idea from a merch standpoint. So that's a fun bit to run back later.
Rondo coaching the W team would be great too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great NBA players who could do a good job coaching women.
Right.
But I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were.
Oh, I was mid-rant. I think I made my point. Just that, just from a male advocacy standpoint.
Oh,
like
you were talking about DJ Khaled.
Oh, no, the DJ Khaled. I'm sorry. If anyone saw it, the person who deserves the award is the tweet that was like, with the video of DJ Khaled struggling to get through, dribbling like Stanley from The Office, missing a point-blank shot. And the tweet basically was, this is the person who thinks they can who goes on Twitter to say they can beat WNBA players one-on-one. And it was the most chef's kiss. Oh, the things that I've seen. It was so good.
Very funny.
That's what
it felt real. Like. Yeah, it felt real. But congratulations to Chris Paul. He does. I do think that when you think of people who have supported and sort of pumped up the W, he's a top name that comes to mind for most viewers. And so for that reason, I think that's a great choice for the award. But I do think I hope that it doesn't just go to an NBA player every year at the All-Star game. Like that's my only concern. So
agreed. I'm glad that Chris Paul got this because his fandom was completely overshadowed at the finals last year with Devin Booker's like 90s digital camera on the sidelines that he pointed out, because that's the only WNBA fandom that people saw. So good job, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate your support of the W.
Yep. There you go. I can rip the pack. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm so sorry to everyone watching. I ripped mine when I got it, so I don't have any extras for you.
Right. So we got on my end, we have a base pack from a challenge, and we got the rim rockers that we got today. So let's go here. And how is that showing up? Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. So are we going base or are we going rim shakers?
If you're opening both, you got to go base at first, right?
All right. Good call.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to open. All right. This is, I hope to goodness this is going to be better than us opening base. I do have one of those.
3. Okay.
Yes. And I am, for folks in the chat, I am absolutely a Spider-Man and a Star Wars fan. This is a both and. This is a BB-8 tattoo on the inside of my arm here. My moral compass, BB-8.
BB great.
All good stuff. Yep. All right, first mom jump shots. Hey,
Here we go.
Vucci Main. All right, we'll take that.
For a second, I thought this was a Rim Shakers one, and I was like, did they just? That's not what I thought Rim Shakers meant.
Norman Powell. All right, someone who can dunk. I don't know that I've seen Nikola Vucevic dunk in a while, so that would have been great. Oh, I think this is probably like the healthiest 40K cereal I have.
That's
That's a big boy.
That's a big.
That's a big one. All right, and do we get Thibault? Okay.
Okay.
All 40Ks. Not
Yeah.
bad. I'll take it. All right. If nothing else, we're helping out the collector score more than we would have otherwise. All right.
Yeah.
How are we going to shake the rim today? It's probably be more exciting than the actual dunk contest. Did you see the video?
Appreciate.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, did you see the video of after so many Jalen Green misses that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? They have a video of him just like picking up his jacket and walking out mid Jalen Green dunk. Yeah.
I was gonna say my favorite part of that was how many people then shared the 2016 dunk contest to be like, this is what a good dunk contest is, and so we got to see those again because that really was an incredible year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. But yeah, there's some tweaks that need to be made, I think.
Oh, good God, please, yes. I had forgotten from some of those videos that Zach LaVine almost threw free throw between the legs dunk, and I got the same just like goosebumps that I had watching that the first time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's good every time.
Well, if I miss those times, and yeah, it is sad. This is only one moment. That's kind of the only one moment. That is the exact voice that I had. Going through this.
I guess it's nice. It's like in a pack. You can get the whole.
It's happy to get a pack. All right, we're shaking.
I don't even know what's in this. Like what we would
cereal,
get. Okay.
I hope to God he
Speaking
makes this
of,
one.
do we all get this one? We all get. Oh
no, I've seen people get an Obi Toppin.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's just someone from. I got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Now. I thought there was 3. I am out of the loop here. I'll show you how I use Top Shot in a second when I share my recent showcase.
Oh, I cannot wait for this.
So I do have one of these that I can
Yep.
That I can share. This is great. So share screen. Let's do okay. All right. So we have this here. But I guess before I get to this, I did, for those of you that watched last week, I am currently working on a CarMax for State Farm showcase. I do feel like I need some help though in remembering everybody in the universe. CarMax is easy. I feel like it's just Sue Bird, Candace, and Steph. I don't think we've gotten more than that because it's a newer thing. But when I was looking, I was truly Googling like which NBA players have been in a State Farm commercial. And there's like a 2015, the Hoopers. So now I'm like, how much is the Kevin Garnett moment? Because he was in that commercial. So these are the things that I'm doing on Top Shot. I am not as locked into who is going to be in the Rim Shakers pack, but yeah, this is pretty good. I feel like it's a fun little collection. So let me know who I'm missing. And I'm sure I'll think of more bits with that at some point.
You have to keep talking about this because I have to find your challenge reward for anyone who can complete this whole thing. Because let's see if I can do it. Oh, come on.
Okay. Thank you, Borland. I'll find this. Levine. Okay. Write these down. This is my homework. I think that's a fun way to build a showcase.
I think it's absolutely the best way to build the showcase. And I think now that we have this up, I think for anyone who's able to build your entire thing for your State Farm CarMax, once you're done opening this guy, I have our challenge reward, and I cannot wait to share.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, hey, look at that cereal.
Pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, the same one.
Just
Watch it one more time.
the
Okay.
one of one dunks made. Oh
Well,
man,
when you
just
just look
think
at it
of
in isolation, you're like, oh yeah, that was
there's
fun.
badges with that too. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, there's not an NFT on his neck. There's not Tim's on his feet, but you know, it's all right. All right.
Steve,
So
welcome. Good to see you.
there we go. Let's see, what can we do for anyone who completes the CarMax V State Farm
we're doing
showcase?
our own.
I'm giving us a challenge reward. Let's see. Let's find it.
First, we need to generate a full list of people in the world. Yeah.
There you go. Jake Farm at the All-Star game.
Do you know I almost put Devin Booker? I don't think he's in a State Farm commercial, but I almost put him in the showcase because of the comparisons to Jake from State Farm. I thought that would be a good.
Just both the audacity of just the swagger of walking in the way that he did to an All-Star game event, and just like the outfit that he's wearing. Like I didn't know I was such a fan of Jake from State Farm, but I enjoy it.
He should be in like the dunk contest. Like there should be, I told Mike, I think that just like a normal person needs to try the dunk contest so that we gain sort of an appreciation for just how hard even the easy dunks are. Because I have no idea. Some of them I'm like, that looks easy. And I know it's not. It's not at all. I couldn't. Never in a million years could I do that.
I think this is absolutely the right take. Everyone has said for the Winter Olympics, like we need to have a normal person doing this shit to
same idea.
Understand. And hey, Bandy,
and
it's
a new spot. That's Mike must be in the other room so he can see both of us.
Mediator dog.
Yep.
To see, like, even give him like an 8-foot rim or something, like just make it happen. And I want to see an insurance salesman just fall flat on their face. Hey friend, how's it going?
He can't hear you, but he says, hey friend, how's it going?
Hey Kev.
Hey, there you go.
You can hear him, I think.
Yeah, I got the most like monosyllabic. Hey, all right. I'm not going to internalize that negatively at all. So we're all good. So we each pulled one of the few made dunks from last weekend. You got a great cereal. Again, you are winning with the pack luck on stream. And tell us about all the journey that your game recognized game moments have gotten. Are we setting on those? Have you moved them at all? You got like 6 Anthony Edwards game recognized games last time.
Oh, I haven't done a thing with those. I take the team hold name seriously and I hold my moments. And so I generally don't even think about listing them because I'm like, we're team hold. I hold them.
Wow.
I keep them. And then Mike will sometimes tell me like, this one's pumping because he's in the challenge. I'm like, okay, let me look. But it makes me anxious to sell them sometimes because I just think they're all going to be worth, I think they're all going to be worth more again. And even at that point, I don't think I'll sell them. So, yeah. Oh, Borland.
I know. We need like a screenshot and we have like a full like family picture happening over here. Just dog and host and other host.
Hi, guys.
Hey. Aw, it's your boys. No, I get that take. I packed a long time ago. I packed 2 Evan Mobleys on one of the early like base things. And then against the advice of Aaron Borland, I flipped those at some point, and then I finished the WNBA sets and the most recent like kind of Hustle and Show, all that challenges and everything. And both, like, it's so weird to hold both those kind of spaces in your head of like, I am sad that money had gone away, that like initial sort of like investment, but sort of so glad to have these completed sets, and just living with that anxiety is a lot, but you just kind of like setting with it that's a good strategy. It's
so nice to have Dapper from selling stuff. I think the only time I aggressively sold on the marketplace was after Summer League, when I truly just got those moments to sell them because we were there and I knew that was sort of the point of getting max packs, when it was sort of the first time you could do that. Team Max Packs. But yeah, I like to hold them. The only time I'm really going to buy stuff is when I think of a bit. So my Top Shot collecting is for bit equity for sure.
That Zakarian guy has rubbed off on you in a big way.
Yeah.
Like that was a wonderful bit though. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not using his Top Shot collection in that way. So one of us, I think.
Right.
One of us needs to.
Way to go, Soul Bro. Keep just my not financial advice is like, keep an eye on how those things are going. I haven't checked what the WNBA set has done with sort of that recent market downturn.
Mike had asked earlier if any of these moves and kind of projections for next year changed our Top Shot moves with with these women. I don't think so. I think you still my advice honestly is if you're going to buy WNBA moments, buy the players and you're excited to watch.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I think that's absolutely.
And buy the people that are retiring. That's my other piece of advice.
There you go. Do what you love. Love what you do.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm trying to get the moves down. That's not it. And retiring is great. The kind of the approach that I had tried to make before those run it backs kind of skyrocketed for a bit. I was trying to buy kind of as many different types of plays from kind of those rare sets to have like a 3-pointer, to have a dunk, to have an assist, just in case those things kind of came up in the flash challenge or kind of if we ever got around to a moment ranks kind of thing for the W.
It's so easy to do flash challenges when you have a whole set. And it's
so
when
easy.
they're WNBA flash challenges, it's the women. So you're like, I have all of them. Like it's not team specific. It's like I have everyone in the league who is available on this site. Like that's I don't think I'll ever accomplish that for the NBA. So
And that Asia is the tough one. Yeah. That somehow got up to $300. I have no idea.
The Diana Taurasi fandom one is stuff of dreams, but it's so expensive. And then because of that, the Vandersloot one's also very expensive.
Yeah. Between like the moments like on there, if you remember, I don't know that I remember what the Taurasi moment is from that fandom, but that Vandersloot moment, that's fandom. It's such a badass moment. It's so cool.
Yeah. They're cool. Yep. They're pricey.
Oh. Hey, from Portugal. Hello.
Hello, welcome. Tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, appreciate that. This is probably a morning marketplace for Portugal. Let's go. early morning marketplace for Portugal. This is great. I think that's how I'm going to approach kind of the marketplace going forward for the league. I think checking the market as it's sort of gone down to see if any of those current players who are in that run it back or legendary set are even remotely in reach. So far, the legendary is a big hard no because they're still over 500. But
expensive. That's how you get me to sell my other stuff. If I have Dapper, it doesn't feel like real money.
Yeah.
And I haven't withdrawn from Dapper yet because I don't even want to know what tax stuff is. I don't even want to think about it. So now I'm like, do I just go another year without withdrawing and save it for the following, like the year after that? That's how my brain works.
That's the approach. Like this is the perfect, just like kind of just like quasi-millennial approach of just like, I'm scared of the tax stuff. So I'm just going to sit and not do anything. That's how I do everything. Yeah.
And I'm just banking on the fact that if I never withdraw from Dapper, it won't matter. But that may also not be true. Like I don't know if they're considered like realized gains just in my Dapper wallet still, because they could be converted to US dollars. I don't know.
If the IRS is in the chat, let us know.
So I don't think anyone knows. So for the meantime, that feels like a safe bet.
Absolutely. The guidance from the IRS is the most vague thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's, I mean, that's coming from someone who understands nothing about any financial. So yeah. Kelsey, it was a great evening.
This was great.
We wrote it.
It feels so much earlier than normal when we're doing with these shows. This is nice. I feel like the whole night's ahead of us. We can watch some women's college basketball and
we can watch some Iowa. I'll bite the inside of my cheek and I'll get through it.
Iowa, Indiana. You'll just we'll
be fine. This is weird doing it so early.
The stream.
Yep. Like the stream.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Oh, do we want to do a giveaway?
I think you have something to give away. Oh,
I have a Chris Paul 60K to give away.
What's the name of the tool? Thank you. That was easy. StreamYard.com/giveaway.
There we go.
Yeah, what are we giving away?
So I have a CP3 60K that we can give away. And who else do we have in here? We have 16 people. How are we doing on likes? And I'm trying to see too, and struggling. There we go. Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad likes wise. All right. So because I'm feeling so generous off the other end of just the torrent of spammy comments that we had, let's give away Mike Zakarian's Kelsey Plum too. And we got a CP3 and we got a Kelsey Plum. And all we got to do is you got to like the video. You got to subscribe to Team Hold. And Kelsey is bringing up a hashtag that we're going to use to
what do we think?
Make it work.
Should we do 2 hashtags here? One for each. And then
I think we should.
Should we do let's see.
Yeah, we just do one hashtag. It's easier.
Oh, Mike said do 1 hashtag. It's easier. We're going to do 1 hashtag for my producer in the other room.
All right. We'll do easier as the hashtag.
What was it?
Easier?
Easier? Yeah, it's easier. Here we go. Easier. Hashtag easier in the chat.
I think we can add our Twitch friends as long as they are as long as the hashtag's there, right? Or
yeah,
no?
it should work.
Okay.
It pulls from StreamYard. It pulls from the StreamYard chat. So that should work. Yep. This is what you're doing. Doesn't have to be all caps, but it does need the hashtag.
We are putting this behind us, Aaron Borland.
Don't do this one. Don't do that one.
Wear a mask. Don't put mask in the chat.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike for crowd control earlier today. We appreciate you.
Just like YouTube bouncer to.
Yeah. Well, I forget that's part of what needs to happen because the trolls will take over.
And oh my gosh, did they? Yeah. I'm proud of us for handling it. We did great.
I honestly was not. I had not considered that if they're the only people in the chat, it's hard to see the other stuff in the chat because I still felt like I was getting what I needed to see. Otherwise, I was like, whatever, those people. But I forgot how distracting that is for the rest of you. So I apologize for not getting those people faster. Yeah. Hopefully all versions of the troll like the stream. That would be nice. The least they could do for running wild there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hashtag easier. There's 15 entries so far. That's probably just about everyone. We have, I think, 14 viewers. So that's a good way to test that it's working. And that I do think our Twitch users are in there because pretty sure it's single entry here. Okay, let me share. I'll share this tab here. Here we go. All right. Who's it going to be?
Jay Blaze, I like to think that we're doing everything right, so this comment helps. Hey,
DJ
Loco!
Congratulations. And then we have one more. This is for that was for the CB3.
Yep. That was this one was for the CP3. Next one is for Kelsey Plum Top Shot debut.
All right, here we go. Draw again.
DJ Local gave himself an award earlier in the chats and got an actual reward. It all works. Hey, Soulbro. There you go. Hopefully this is one of the ones that you needed.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. That would work out excellent.
If not, flip it and get something for that best of set. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I like the Team Hold fam that we have or show up for these things. I look forward to seeing you all as we go through March Madness. Kelsey and I will set up a bracket. We're going to try to get stuff figured out for fantasy coming up as the season starts. I'm hoping that we can do something kind of season long. We're still trying to figure that out. But definitely we're going to have content for DFS because That's how we cut our teeth kind of
And
last
hopefully
year.
a little prize picks. I wouldn't hate
Yep.
trying to get better at that. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
lots to look forward to.
Yeah, and if Prize Picks is watching, we'll always take a sponsorship.
Yeah, sponsor
You're
us.
welcome. Yep. All right. I'm gonna get a picture of Solbro's little TS name in there, and then you can expect that. And then DJ Local, I know that you're in the Discord. If you can message me with what your TS username is, that'd be great. And Kelsey, thanks for a great stream.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you soon. TBD on when our schedules. We're winging it for now. Hopefully, we'll have a consistent day and time for you guys soon. Once we can kind of settle on that. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. We'll be back. Thanks for being here.
Y'all.
Bye, guys.